Coming up on OU Nightly, Hurricane Helene is the most devastating storm yet in U.S. history, with a climbing death toll. Plus, the Oklahoma Standard makes its way to North Carolina to help those in need. And from the field to the corner, two former football players open a new Sooner haven. This is OU Nightly.
Destruction floods the southeast. As what's left of Helene destroys homes, many families and residents are still picking up the pieces.
Welcome back to OU Nightly. I'm Spencer Plato.
And I'm Darby McCormick. We are continuing to see the devastation unfold in the aftermath of Hurricane Helene.
The storm will rank among the deadliest hurricanes to strike the U.S. in the past 50 years, and the toll is expected to climb higher. Laura Aguirre has more from Charlotte on the storm some are describing as post-apocalyptic.
It's just really horrifying. It's sad because there's still people there that are really hard to get to.
Several communities in western North Carolina remain virtually isolated Monday, cut off from life-sustaining supplies and medical care, days after Hurricane Helene decimated large parts of the southeast.
There is no commercial or retail water available in our city.
The mayor of Weaverville finding a small window of cell phone service Monday morning. His town, like those nearby, in desperate need of things like water, food, fuel, and communications.
6,000 people have responded to a website we have where you can request to be hooked up with your missing family.
Many of the missing may be found when wireless service is restored, but a grim reality remains.
We've heard accounts of people seeing houses floating down the river with people in them. So we know that death toll will rise.
Hundreds of roads remain closed Monday with damage on a scale that could take years to repair. Historic and beloved towns, lakes, national parks, forever changed.
This is a demarcation line. It will be completely different going forward.
A message from President Joe Biden Monday. Help is coming.
I've directed my team to provide every available resource as fast as possible to your communities.
But for many storm victims right now, survival is hour by hour.
We don't know where we go from here. We don't know where everybody else goes from here.
In Charlotte, North Carolina, I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
And dozens of Oklahomans are helping victims of Hurricane Helene. Firefighters and first responders with Oklahoma Task Force 1 are in North Carolina. OU Nightly's Olivia Hayes joins us live following their rescue efforts.
Yeah, Spencer, Darby, I'm here outside of Norman Fire Department. They actually sent one of their own from Station 6 down with Task Force 1. Task Force 1 says that they've rescued 4 people and multiple pets before even reaching their first destination.
We were just at the right place at the right time. We pulled over and talked with the local law enforcement. They said there were several people trapped inside houses, and these houses are actually floating down rivers. And our swiftwater team sprung into action sooner than expected.
Oklahoma's Task Force 1 is making its way through the southeast, helping and rescuing those who have lost nearly everything following the aftermath of Hurricane Helene. The team's made up of 16 first responders from Oklahoma City, Yukon, Tinker, and Norman. They say they're battling large amounts of debris during their water rescues.
One of our boats did lose power. It was due to some clothing that had wrapped around the propeller and had bound that motor up. Fortunately, the firefighters were able to locate the problem very quickly, unravel that piece of clothing around the prop, and then they were free and able to return safely.
Firefighters say this is a fulfilling opportunity, but it comes with a risk.
We've had actually 2 injuries. They were treated locally there at a clinic, and they were ready to go, just minor injuries, thankfully.
The plan is to spend the next 2 weeks in North Carolina helping those in need.
The community support there is just really morale building for our firefighters. It gives you a sense of purpose of being there. We're needed there, and that's what our firefighters need.
Now, Oklahoma Task Force 1 is currently in Bakersville, North Carolina, where they're meeting up with other first responding agencies from Tulsa and New York City. Reporting live in Norman, Olivia Hayes, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Olivia. If you're interested in helping those affected by Helene's impact, the Red Cross is hosting 3 training events in Oklahoma City this week. They'll be teaching volunteers how to help families displaced by the storm, as well as how to become a shelter worker.
Reports continue to come in regarding Helene's wreckage in the southeast. OU Nightly meteorologist Garrett Tarver has been tracking the damage.
The damage is very widespread from Helene. You can see its path as from the Big Bend of Florida into Georgia, South Carolina, and the western sections of North Carolina. The power outages in the millions. This is really creating an issue for recovery efforts as they continue and will continue for the next several weeks and months. And something to note, there is a couple areas to watch in both the Gulf of Mexico and Atlantic and the Pacific. This main area right here, a 40% chance of development over the next 7 days. Not exactly sure if that's going to impact Florida, but we'll continue to watch it. We have a cold front coming, though. We're going to be pretty hot and dry, though, and fall allergies, they're kicking back up. We'll have more on that coming up.
Thanks, Garrett. Israeli leaders are warning the United States of their plans of a potential ground invasion of Lebanon. OU Nightly's Taryn Ward has that and the rest of today's international and national headlines from the News Center.
Spencer, this comes as Hezbollah and Lebanon are rebuilding after airstrikes this weekend. Israeli attacks killed Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah, causing damage throughout the Lebanese capital of Beirut. Israel says removing Hezbollah forces is necessary for the safety of the northern Israeli people. As tensions rise, President Joe Biden urges for a ceasefire. And in the U.S., time is running out to stop a strike that could shut down ports across the East and Gulf coasts. If the deal isn't reached by midnight tonight, the union representing 45,000 dock workers says that they're hitting the picket lines. If these 36 ports closed, which control about half of the goods shipped into the U.S., people could struggle with higher prices and shipping delays. This strike would be the first of these ports since 1977. And the man accused of trying to assassinate former President Donald Trump at his Florida golf court is pleading not guilty. Ryan Wesley Ruth faces 5 charges, including attempted assassination. According to authorities, Ruth was caught by Secret Service when his rifle barrel was seen poking through the golf course fence line. Happening tomorrow, Ohio Governor J.D. Vance and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz face off in a vice presidential debate. The 90-minute debate starts at 8. Spencer, Darby.
Thanks, Taryn. Federal student loan forgiveness plans reach an important benchmark today.
Find out how students and graduates are affected.
And Lindsay Street opened a new game day and everyday dining spot.
When we return, how the connection of 2 former teammates is greater than any food put on the table.
Emma, did you hear?
Todd's in the hospital.
Who's Todd? He got a collapsed lung from vaping. He thought it was cool.
Not cool.
Promise you won't vape, Emma. It can lead to a lifelong addiction, and we can't be friends if your lungs collapse.
Bogus.
Wacky sitcom teens aren't the best people to talk to your kid about vaping.
Hey, you got a minute?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed.
When we have the food we need, we are at our best. We push further. We rise higher. We unlock our full potential. When we have the food we need, we make our communities stronger. Together, we can help everyone get the food they need to thrive. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/actnow.
Water is our most precious resource and something that should be conserved and used wisely. Here are some water conservation tips you can try. In the kitchen, collect the excess water you use to rinse produce and use it to water houseplants. Also, soak your pots and pans instead of letting the water run while you scrape them. Water is life. This message was brought to you by the City of Norman.
Today, a pandemic-era student loan benefit ends. OU Nightly's Abby Hollinsworth is following this story in today's Money Matters.
Student loan borrowers now will face consequences for missing a payment. During the last year, student loan services were not reporting missing, late, or partial payments to the National Credit Bureaus. With this benefit coming to an end, loan borrowers could see their credit scores impacted within the next 90 days if they do not pay on time. Following Hurricane Helene, Moody's Analytics and economic research business estimates the economic impact could range from $20 to $34 billion. Their analysis shows insurance probably won't cover the full cost of damage. Experts say many homeowners will struggle to rebuild after years of high home and flooding insurance rates. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell says the U.S. economy is in solid shape.
Our economy is strong overall and has made significant progress over the past 2 years toward achieving our dual mandate goals of maximum employment and stable prices.
Powell said today if the economy performs, Americans could see the interest rates cut twice before the end of the year by a quarter point. Darby Spencer.
Thanks, Abby. On the porch of Coach's Corner, the true definition of Sooner born, Sooner bred. Two former Sooners once suited up in the crimson and cream together, and now they're owners of one of the hottest spots on Lindsay Street. OU Nightly's Abby Williams has the story.
From the gridiron to the griddle, Malin Wesley and Corey Wilson have seen it all. 30 years ago, the pair played football together at OU, and now instead of winning games, they're winning customers' hearts.
That's what we try to predicate our business off of, is just having great customer service, meeting people where they are, always trying to leave an impressionable smile on everybody's face, and talk to every single body.
But it wasn't easy getting to where they are now.
We got our liquor license on the Thursday. We passed our health exam on a Friday. We put in a lot of work, a lot of hours. It's a lot of money that goes into this. This is not backed by a corporation. It's backed by two brothers who grew up for nothing.
And despite the smiles Malin and Corey put on for their customers, they still have their own battles.
I live with lupus. Silent killer. My daddy died from it at 55. I'm 52. So it's a struggle every day. But knowing I got the support of my brother, who I know gonna have my back whether I can make it to work, who tells me to rest and understands my struggle and lets me know that it's all right to deal with your issue. Because if you're not here, what good is it?
Like offense and defense, there isn't one without the other.
I get my strength from him, from what he goes through every day.
And that strength is what both men use to form relationships with everyone who finds a seat in Coach's Corner.
On the corner of Lindsay and Barry, Malin and Corey say you'll never see one without the other. Coach's Corner is open 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. every weekday and is open until 2 a.m. Friday and Saturday. A massive cellular outage across the United States, and it's affecting thousands of subscribers.
What the provider says it's doing to solve the issue after the break.
Well, it's fall, but it sure doesn't feel like it. We'll have more on those warming temperatures as well as just this long dry spell coming up after this break.
Everyone has a ritual, that small thing that keeps us focused. A habit we never skip to clear our minds and elevate our performance.
But what do you do to keep your head in the game, to drown out the self-doubt and support your mental health? Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body.
It's about taking care of your mind and mental health. Discover the resources you need to keep your mind focused and your mental health a priority.
Water is our most precious resource and something that should be conserved and used wisely. Here is a water conservation tip you can try. In the bathroom, if your shower can fill a 1-gallon bucket in less than 20 seconds, replace the shower head with a water-efficient one. They are cheap, easy to install, and can save you up to 750 gallons a month. Water is life. This message was brought to you by the City of Norman. Water is our most precious resource and something that should be conserved and used wisely. Here is a water conservation tip you can try. In the bathroom, turn off the water while you brush your teeth. You'll save about 4 gallons per minute. That comes out to about 200 gallons a week for a family of 4. Water is life. This message was brought to you by the City of Norman.
People couldn't see my potential, so I had to show them.
I've run this place for 20 years, but I still need to prove that I'm more than what you see on paper.
Today, I'm the CEO of my own company.
That's the way my mind works. I have a very mechanical brain.
Why are we not rethinking this?
I am more.
I'm more than
who I am on paper.
Well, it's definitely not sweater weather out there. The temperatures continue to increase. Last week was kind of nice. We had a few of those highs in the 70s, but not this week. We had temperatures in the upper 80s, even some 90s starting to stick out across the metro. 90 in Purcell, 91 in El Reno. It's the same story across the whole state. We have mid-90s out in the Panhandle, a few 80s sticking around here. It's hot. It's fall. It really doesn't feel like it, but we will have a cold front looking into tomorrow morning. You can see it tonight start to slip through into the Panhandle, dropping south. See those wind gusts start to pick up as we get into early Tuesday morning. As that cold front moves on through, we see wind gusts 20, 25 miles an hour are possible. Steady winds around 10 to 20, so don't fix your hair tomorrow morning because it's just going to get blown away as you step out the door. Now, it's a cold front, but it's not going to be that cold. We're going to see those temperatures 82, so it's not going to be in the upper 80s like it was today, but not cool either. And it's just going to be a roller coaster. We'll go up into the mid to upper 80s through the middle of the week. Same thing going into this weekend. We'll see 88, 87 on Sunday, and then maybe Monday we could see the lower 80s come back in, still above average, but the cooler we get, I would really appreciate that. And for the next 6 to 10 days, we see that above average temperatures for really the whole swath of into the Central Plains, into the far west, around average out on the East Coast. I really wish we could see some of that start to move in, but we won't for the foreseeable future. Same with the precipitation. It's going to be below average, going in really just a large chunk of the country. Florida up onto the East Coast could be around normal, maybe a little bit more normal than average for your precipitation, but we are dry. We've been dry for a while. We had a little bit of rain last Sunday and last Tuesday, but it hasn't really impacted, especially areas of southwestern Oklahoma where that drought is at an extreme. We've got a few areas that are normal for right now, but moving into October, we could see some of that start to get a little bit more dry. Temperatures though, tomorrow morning, 60s, going to be pretty nice. Highs getting up into the low 80s. So tomorrow's going to be the coolest it's going to feel for a while, but your allergies are really going to kill you. I can feel it. This whole weekend I've been sneezing constantly. Those temperatures though, 80s moving into the end of the week. Sunny skies though, I'm really enjoying the sun. You know, I can't complain too much. The temperatures are a little bit higher than I'd like, but it's sunny.
Sunny and lovely time to celebrate your birthday that you have today.
Tell us your special plans.
You know, I'm waiting for OU Texas next week. I'm going to get a nice massage. That's my plan.
That's perfect. Thanks, Garrett. Not a lot of buzz for Verizon users today. The wireless provider is suffering a widespread outage. Over 104,000 users across the Midwest reported having little to no service, making them unable to place calls or send and receive text messages. Verizon is aware of the issue, and its engineers are working quickly to solve it.
And there was certainly some Sooner magic in Jordan-Hare Stadium when OU played Auburn on Saturday.
Aiden, what are some of your takeaways?
Well, the Michael Hawkins Jr. era is officially in full blast, but another Sooners taking home some hardware. Find out who and hear what the Sooners had to say about their comeback at Pat Dye Field next in sports.
How do you know when you've made the right decision? It's the feeling you get in your gut. The one that tells you what's right or wrong. It's the one that says, sure, I can have a drink. Or the feeling that says, okay, I've been drinking. Now what? It's the voice inside you that says, I'm buzzed. Better leave the car when it's time to go. Plan ahead. Catch a sober ride. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Water is our most precious resource and something that should be conserved and used wisely. Here are some water conservation tips you can try. In the kitchen, collect the excess water you use to rinse produce and use it to water houseplants. Also, soak your pots and pans instead of letting the water run while you scrape them. Water is life. This message was brought to you by the City of Norman. Did you know that trash, like plastic bottles and fast food wrappers, can carry germs and bacteria? When these items are tossed in the street, they eventually find their way to a river or lake and have a negative impact on aquatic life. Keep our waters clean by putting your trash in the bin. For more information, visit bit.ly/Norman Stormwater.
I'm Aiden Tyler, and it's time for sports. Sooner fans experienced some Sooner magic on Saturday when OU traveled to Auburn. OU Nightly's Britton Ross has the story.
Oklahoma's first ever SEC road game didn't start off according to plan, but got back on track after Kip Lewis took an interception 63 yards to the house for a pick six. The Sooners went on to secure the victory 27-21 after the defense made multiple clutch stops, securing OU's first ever SEC win.
I was hoping that I wouldn't fall. When I dropped back, I was hoping that I wouldn't fall on my face when he threw me the ball. And I was like, oh, this is going to be. And after I grabbed it, I was just ready for my life. I couldn't remember a lot because I was so tired. I don't think I can really feel it. I mean, that was just like Sooner magic at its finest.
What a freaking play. Probably not talking in the same language had he not pick sixed him there. So I love watching him play. One of his best qualities is he just loves to compete.
And now a bye week for the Sooners before they face Texas on October 12th. Reporting from Jordan-Hare Stadium, Britton Ross, OU Nightly.
And that interception for a touchdown played a huge part in Kip Lewis being named the SEC Defensive Player of the Week. Lewis finished the game with 5 tackles, 1 being for a loss, and of course, the pick six that sealed the deal in Auburn. And 2 former Sooner quarterbacks faced off in the NFL on Sunday, but it was Baker Mayfield who stole the show. Early in the first quarter, he tosses this passing touchdown. It's to Mike Evans, but he was not done. He would throw another one later in the first quarter to Chris Godwin. Mayfield threw for 347 yards and 2 touchdowns in the Buccaneers' blowout win over the Eagles 33-16. And now to another Sooner quarterback. Kyler Murray threw this touchdown to Marvin Harrison Jr., but that was really the only good thing to happen for the Cardinals as they fall to the Commanders 42-14. The OU volleyball team hosted 20th-ranked Tennessee on Sunday. The first set went down to the wire, but the Sooners held on 27-25. They would also go ahead and take the second set in an absolute thriller, and Alexis Shelton would put it away with a kill as OU notched its first win over a ranked opponent since 2014. And along with the win, Peyton Chamberlain was named SEC Co-Setter of the Week after getting 52 assists. And OU women's soccer hosted Kentucky on Sunday. Alexis Washington beautifully beats the Kentucky defenders here. She finds Sophia Green, who tucks it in, making it 1-0. The assist from Washington tied OU's all-time assist record at 18. Kentucky answered, but so would Leonie Weber. She places this free kick perfectly into the top left corner, making it 2-1. However, Kentucky would tie it up at 2, and the score remained that way. Final. And switching to the tennis court, Royson Gilhaney and Saliktip Wanwang secured OU women's first doubles title of the fall, taking 4 straight matches to win the Milwaukee Classic. They are the first Sooners duo to take the crown since 2019. Spencer, Darby.
Thanks, Aiden. Coming up, October is right around the corner, and many Oklahoma fall festivities are returning.
How you can celebrate spooky season next.
There are a lot of temptations facing young people today, like electronic cigarettes and skateboarding. Each vape pod can contain the same amount of nicotine as a pack of cigarettes. This can lead today's youth to a lifelong addiction and severe lung damage. Recall and consider the facts before making a poor decision.
The health class film guy isn't the best person to talk to your kid about vaping.
Got a few minutes?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. Two milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable.
The sad reality is, fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kids should know.
We said we'd never break the 3-second rule. Never do that. And never become a minivan mom.
Hey, Chris.
As parents, we say never a lot, but never happens. So when you say you'd never leave your child in a hot car, know it can happen. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock.
Emma, did you hear?
Todd's in the hospital.
Who's Todd? He got a collapsed lung from vaping. He thought it was cool.
Not cool.
Promise you won't vape, Emma. It can lead to a lifelong addiction, and we can't be friends if your lungs collapse.
Bogus.
Wacky sitcom teens aren't the best people to talk to your kid about vaping.
Hey, you got a minute?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
I'm Kelsey Speed. Happening tomorrow, the Norman City Council is scheduled to meet to discuss a potential lawsuit. According to the agenda, they'll discuss litigation regarding construction of the Norman Central Library. The $39 million library opened in 2019. It temporarily closed in 2023 for mold cleanup. In April of this year, the library shut down, blaming extensive damage. Spencer, Darby.
Thanks, Kelsey. If you're looking for something fun this fall season, Pumpkinville is returning to Myriad Botanical Gardens. This year's event is brewing up mythical creatures from giants to unicorns to mermaids.
Visitors can explore displays made with 30,000 pumpkins, gourds, haystacks, and mums. Pumpkinville starts October 4th and runs until the 20th. Admission is $9 or free for garden members and kids ages 2 and under. Well, the fall festivities are here, but it certainly doesn't feel like it.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. You know, the temperatures are hot. I get my birthday wish of a little bit cooler temperatures tomorrow for Tuesday, but then it just heats up. We have upper 80s for the rest of the week. You know, it's hot, it's dry. I can't complain too much, but the sunny skies we'll take.
Yes, definitely hoping for the relief there.
Exactly, relief by week 2 for football. And thank you for watching OU Nightly. I'm Darby McCormick.
And I'm Spencer Plato. Be sure to watch tomorrow live weekdays 4:30. Good night.
Hate is loud. It gets clicks. It gets attention. Hate, however, is actually quite small.